DJ, drop a beat.
Hi, this is Steve Wozniak, and you're listening to Mac OS X.
Ooh, Ken. Sorry.
Pardon? Oh,
Ken.
it's Ken?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Quite
All right,
right.
let's do it again.
This is Mac OS Ken.
Another small cut to an Apple target. Siri's got a new Taskmaster, and thoughts on 19 years of this. It is Monday, the 27th of January, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSCan. Despite an ugly January for Apple shares, the analysts who have been bullish on the stock have pretty much stayed bullish. But even some of them have had to temper expectations. Late last week, Barron's ran a piece highlighting a note from BofA analyst Wamsi Mohan, wherein he trimmed his price target on the company's shares by $3. Not as funny to me as trimming it by $1, but still, why fire up a laptop for less than $5? Anyway, he's still into the stock, after the current slowness. The analyst lowered his iPhone sales expectations for the current quarter from 56 million units to 49 million. That was partly due to the weak macro, and partly due to the staggered launch of Apple Intelligence features not driving people to update. Of course, there is still a lot to like, including enviable gross margins and strong cash flow. With weaker iPhone sales being well understood by investors in his estimation, Mr. Mohan reiterates his buy rating on Apple shares. He did lower his price target, though, dropping it from $256 to $253. Interesting that he went with thoughts on the March quarter rather than trying to get ahead of December quarter earnings. Then again, maybe he is subtly telling people not to freak out over disappointing guidance. Whatever the case, analysts, investors, and the Apple interested will hear financial news from execs from the Cupertino company later this week. Apple will report December quarter earnings and offer insight on the current quarter this Thursday, the 30th of January at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Leftover Christmas candy and flat champagne to be served after. Movement behind the Apple scenes in India. A piece from TechCrunch says recent iPhone hardware maker Tata Electronics has taken a controlling interest in the Indian operations of longtime Apple hardware partner Pegatron. That steps up Tata's iPhone manufacturing considerably. Adding Pegatron's 3 iPhone facilities comes about a year after Tata bought the Indian facilities of smartphone assembler Wistron. Though it only started making iPhone last year, TechCrunch says Tata is emerging as one of Apple's most important partners in Asia. That is especially true given Apple's continuing push to diversify its supply chain. Apple's pushing back against last week's watch band lawsuit. I told you of the filing of a class action lawsuit against the Cupertino company for the sale of watch bands that allegedly include forever chemicals. Concerns are that those chemicals can be absorbed through the skin and cause serious health issues. The thing is, the study on which the lawsuit was based did not say that Apple Watch bands have those chemicals. The study listed Apple's bands as among those it did study. It also noted the presence of those chemicals in bands at the higher price range, but it never said that they were present in bands from Apple, leaving Apple room to say, nuh-uh, which it has. Mostly. A piece from Mac Rumors had Apple issuing a statement late last week. According to the company, Apple Watch bands are safe for users to wear. In addition to our own testing, we also work with independent laboratories to conduct rigorous testing and analysis of the materials used in our products, including Apple Watch bands. So maybe we should make that nuh-uh with an asterisk. While Apple says the bands are safe to wear, it doesn't say that the chemicals in question are not present. Apple didn't respond to Mac Rumors' question about that specifically. Something of an internal shuffle for Apple's artificial intelligence team. iDownload blog says 36-year Apple software exec Kim Vorrath is being brought in to fix Siri. That is according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, who heard it from a secret person. A secret person, when secret people are just too many. According to Gurman, Vorrath is known for managing the development of tough software projects. She's also put procedures in place that can catch and fix bugs. Vorrath joins the new team from Apple's hardware engineering division, where she helped launch the Vision Pro headset. Gurman says she is tasked now with whipping artificial intelligence and Siri into shape. She'll serve as a deputy to former Google executive John Giannandrea, Apple's senior VP of machine learning and AI strategy. There are some sort of changes coming to Apple stores this week. That is the word from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. Mac Rumors writes up what he wrote, which mentions upcoming merchandise floor marketing updates. Probably nothing truly new on the way. According to the piece, Gurman did not explicitly say if the store updates are related to any upcoming product announcements, but he did mention that next week is around the time that Apple rolls out its annual Black Unity watch band for the Apple Watch. With that being a thing that they usually do, and with Black History Month starting in under a week, it seems likely that the changes will involve new accessories, not new hardware. We all knew that Apple's next-gen CarPlay was running late, according to Apple's own target. Now a piece from TechCrunch has Apple acknowledging that fact itself. First teased in 2022, the piece says Apple had promised an initial rollout for a limited set of cars for 2024. Old Lang Syne's been sung a few times since then, including once to welcome 2024 and once to send it packing, and guess what? Still no next-gen CarPlay on the road. In fairness, though, they are trying to do a lot. TechCrunch says the new version will integrate seamlessly with the instrument cluster to provide information on speed, climate control, and other car data. Anyway, that was the plan, and still is. TechCrunch actually had Apple issuing a statement to Mac Rumors saying, "We continue to work closely with several automakers, enabling them to showcase their unique brand and visual design philosophies in the next generation of CarPlay." Apple has also taken references to 2024 off the CarPlay website because, yeah. And finally today, from the people who brought you Galois Blanc and Escargot, comes more Apple TV+. Deadline says the Cupertino streamer has signed an agreement with audiovisual governing bodies in France, committing to investment obligations in local and European productions. Those investment requirements have actually been on the books for 4 years, according to the report. The piece says the agreement will see Apple TV Plus invest 20% of its previous year's net annual turnover in France in the development and production of European and French audiovisual works. Additionally, 70% of that 20% will be directed towards independent productions by French and European producers who will retain rights to the IP. The deal brings Apple's streaming service in line with the 2021 decree from the French government over investment quotas and media windows for all subscription-based, pay-per-view, and free video-on-demand services operating in the country. cinematic releases are not covered by the Accord. So, I got 2 very nice notes from listeners over the weekend. One from Jeff, another from Tim, both wishing this show a happy birthday. I don't remember much about 19 years ago today, because today was just the second day. I remember a whole lot about 19 years ago yesterday, though. After roughly 3 weeks of thought and 2 weeks of real planning, I started a show that I figured would last maybe 6 months. So yeah, I did not see doing this for 19 years. But there was a lot we didn't see coming. And stuff we saw coming that never got here. I'm looking at you, places where people had planned to park their Apple car and watch their Apple television. Speaking candidly and bluntly, I will tell you what I miss. I miss being surprised. Tim Cook's not the product guy Steve Jobs was, but I'm not knocking Tim Cook on this. I don't know that Steve Jobs would be able to surprise us at this point. Tech is just so prevalent and so dominated by subscription and service and the algorithm. Assuming we don't blow ourselves up, I think Apple Vision Pro and devices like it are the way of the future. How far into the future that future is, I don't know. How much it will cost? I wish I could tell you. I'll tell you the thing that I am digging the most right now in technology. It's Mastodon. I am macOS Ken at mastodon.social if you want to find me there, but you need to know that is not a professional account by any stretch of the imagination. I talk smack about politics sometimes. I talk smack about Apple sometimes. I spend a lot of times posting about books I'm making and other artistic endeavors, and interacting with fountain pen people. I had someone ask me a few months back why I list that as a professional account, then talk about other things. I don't list it as a professional account. I'm also macOS Ken on Instagram, where, okay, I'm not really posting much these days, but when I do, I post pictures of lizards, pictures of plants, used to post pictures of my dog there. None of that has anything to do with Apple, and yet that never seemed to confuse people. It's a name that's easy to find because I've been using it for 19 years. So that's been the most surprising thing in tech for me recently. Mastodon, a community that is not predicated on harvesting my information for profit and profit. I think I thought that tech could save us. It's been disappointing to see it used to divide us instead. All right, that got dark. Here are some things that are really cool. I interviewed a 13-year-old 17 years ago who's now retired from Apple after having been acqui-hired by Apple. A guy proposed to his wife on this show. This show got me into Mission Log, a Roddenberry Star Trek podcast, which, yeah, okay, ended like the Enterprise at the end of Star Trek 3 for me, but it's shown as bright as, well, the Enterprise at the end of Star Trek 3, actually. I had dinner last week with a guy who has told me on more than one occasion that an offhanded comment I made on one of my other shows changed the direction of his professional life. Rockstar Vernon Reed let me use one of his songs for the theme for this show, as did rockstar David Lowery, as did The Famous and Key Theory and Big Organ Trio. Why are you snickering? I've been undressed by kings and I've seen some things that... Okay, that's actually from a song. I have pissed some of you off so much that you're not even listening anymore. Huh? Some of you have been here since before this show even started. That is crazy. For those of you who have made this show part of your day, nearly every day for part or all of the past 19 years, wow. And thank you. And hey, bring a friend. I'll say hello to them tomorrow. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/MacOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Year 20. Well, I guess it started today, didn't it? Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Wow, what an amazing day.
Again.
Can't innovate anymore, my
We truly live in an age of wonders.
Buttons aren't toys.
Buttons aren't toys.
It's still sunny.
Hercules.
Let me worry about Luca.
And Jesus wept.
For there were no more worlds to conquer. I'm invisible. Leonard likes this post.
Thank you very much.
Push the button, Frank.
And now, crickets.
Ciao.